Amos and Josh featuring Rabbit King Kaka. Badai, the Badai there brings us to exactly 8 minutes past the hour, 8 o'clock on this thirsty Thursday, otherwise known as
TBT.
You are tuned in to the hottest breakfast show in all of Africa, Jeff and Jalas on Hot 96.
Wow, we want to take a big twist on this on Story a Day. If you are a young man out there, if you've ever wanted somebody to inspire you, if you've ever wanted somebody who will make you change and look at life differently, ladies and gentlemen, pump up the volume. This is Hot 96. It's about to get lit
big time, folks. This young man is barely 19 years old. 19. If you're a 19-year-old, listen to this man's story. Dan Brighton, he calls himself Dan Brighton Wamam, all the way from
South B.
South B.
Yes.
Dan Brighton, welcome to Hot 96.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
You are 19 years old.
19 years old, yes.
And your typical day is like nothing we have ever heard. Dan, it's incredible.
Yes.
I'd like you to walk us through your typical day, just so the people out
from
there.
the time you wake up.
Yes, especially people wale wanaamka saa tano. Huh?
Yes.
Ati wanafanya, and then they don't know what to do. Yes. Listen to Dan Brighton's story. Dan,
Yes.
take it away.
Yes, just to start, before I tell my story, I'll give just the day, how it starts and up to it ends. So my day always starts at 3:30. I wake up at 3:30. I do my personal prayers first, just to dedicate the day to God so that God can protect me. You know, above all, we might plan, but God is the one who has the final answer. And then to 4, exactly 4, I prepare, I go to work. I should be at work in Superlove Company at 4 a.m. So that's where I work until 6:30. By 6:30, I'm out. By 7, I'm preparing to go to school. And exactly by 8, you see the distance from South B to Rongai to Multimedia University where I study. That's just like 1 hour. So it's enough for me to prepare and go to class. So by exactly 8, I'm in class. Very punctual, and I study. I do, if there's no lecture, I do my personal studies. Then up to 4, exactly 4, I get out from class. I go back home at 4. Between 4 to 6, I have my 2 boys who are working for me, who sell bread on my behalf. So I do stock taking with them. Then at exactly 6:30, I make my supper. I take my supper at 6:30. Then at 7, I'm back to work again until 10:30. 10:30, I come back. Now 10:30, I do studies. We do online studies where you can teach about the Bible, the issues, any question that was asked in the online on WhatsApp. So I answer. We have a program. We always teach with my groups in PAM Ministries. We have FOC, that's Fountain of Christ Ministries. These are ministry of young people. So we always encourage each other and teach each other and have prayer sessions. So then I sleep at 11. That's now the day just ends like that. Then I start another day.
Sleep at 11, wake up at 3:30.
Yes.
Now
4
listen,
hours.
listen to this.
Yes.
This guy wakes up at 3:30, prepares himself. By 4, is at work at Superlove,
Yes.
South B. From Superlove, where he works up the way to 6 in the morning, he prepares in an hour to be in class
At Multimedia,
Multimedia University,
which is all the way in
Rongai. That is at 8. He's in school all the way to 4, where he comes back home and meet 2 of his boys that he has employed to sell bread on his behalf. They do stock taking. After that, he prepares his supper, then goes back to Superlove
in South B.
Right?
Yes.
All the way to 10.
10:30.
10:30.
Yes.
At 10:30 comes back home. He does his personal studies and his ministries and all
Bible
that thing.
studies.
Yes.
Then sleeps at 11
Yes.
to wake up again the
At
next
3:30.
at 3:30.
Yes.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
You know
Yes.
what you're going through is not what a young man at your age should be going through.
Yeah, sure.
What happened that led you to this situation?
All right. Thank you so much. And this is what I've been going all over the country, just to tell and inspire people, to tell them that poverty is not the end of life. That whatever situation you are going through, God has a purpose for you. And this is what happened, if I can narrate my story just briefly so that that person can know why am I going through all this and where I've reached. So back when I was in 5 years old, my life was so nice with my father, with my mother, my parents and other siblings. They were just nice, they were living good. But things changed when it reached a time that my father could have conflicts with my mother. And this was just the topic that we were talking about just a few minutes ago. My father and my mother could go to, you know, these worship churches that go to worship, then they come late, maybe at 7:30. So my father was not so happy with this. Alikuwa nakasirika sana, alikuwa anamchapa, anamwambia unatoka wapi, and we are just there staring. So but I don't want to assume that my father had another reason behind this, not only that my mother could come late at home. So they divorced. At long last they divorced. So now it was me. I don't know why my father liked me so much and my mother liked me so much. So my mother went back to Kisii. We were staying in Nairobi South Fuatanyayo village there. So my mother went back to Kisii and with the other siblings. Then my father remained with me. So mamangu alikuwa ananivuruta niende na yeye Kisii na babangu ananivuruta nikae na yeye Nairobi. Now my father had to marry another woman, a stepmother. He brought her home. This mother alikuwa ananitesa sana. Then it was also she went back to Kisii also. Now we went with her one day to Kisii. Now reaching there, my father left us there, then went back to Nairobi. My mother alirudi kwao, si kwa kina babangu. So kwa kina babangu tulikuwa na ule stepmother. Alikuwa ananitesa sana. He could make a Chang'aa, then he could make me just to test. You see, now I was hungry, I could not get even food. So nikitime saa zile unajua iskari nguru jalango, hiyo anaeka kwa nini ndani.
Wanatengeneza nayo Chang'aa.
Yes. So nilikuwa na time akitoka tu hivi kidogo ninaenda kabla isablime iishe, ninatoa, ninakula angalau nishibe. So siku moja alikuwa ananikuja akinipata nimetoa na nichapa. Nikipata ile sukari nguru imeisha, ninachota kwa kikombe, ninakunywa ile busaa. You see? And I was just 6 years, 5 years. So life was so hard. Finally walinifukuza home.
Uyo mama.
Yes, huyo mama alinifukuza nyumbani. You see, like alikuwa overdo my father. So like yeye ndio ana make decision. So I had nowhere to go. Nilianza kutamba. And that's how finally I ended up becoming a street child. Nilijikuta Sotik, just to cut the story short. Nilijikuta Sotik pale on the border, a place called Nyamiranga. Now there I could sleep ndani ya chai usiku. You know that the tea plantation. Nilikuwa nalala hapo ndani mchana ama matime hivi na time ninaenda naiba hata ndizi yenye imeiva kwa shamba la mtu ama these sugar canes I could steal and eat. Now one day there's this mother who could notice me. Ananiona ninaenda ninatoa, ananiona ninaenda nalala pale ndani. One day while I was waking up in the morning kutoka kwa chai tu, she came to me. Then I knew that leo nimeshikwa because nilikuwa nimeenda nimeiba miwa yake. Aliponishika alinichukua kwake. I knew sasa mimi leo nimepatikana. Then she took me. I explained my story to her. Then she was really touched by my story. I told her kindly, mimi sina uwezo. My father alitupa mamangu, sijui mamangu kama ako alive. So that aunt of mine alijitolea kunirudisha shule 1 year minus going to school. Sikuwa na chochote, nilikuwa nimekanyaga tu chini na shati yangu. So she took me back to school in primary school. There before we went back to Kisii, I was learning in Nairobi South Primary hapa to South Bay. But now the lady took me to a school called Tonga Umonuri pale Nyamira County. So I did my class 8 in 2012. I scored 363 marks out of the possible 500. She paid for me school fees, of course. Then alinisaidia pia kupata mamangu because my mother had lost for almost 2-3 years. I've never seen her. I didn't know even if she was alive. So in Form 1 also she paid for me school fees. Now things changed in Form 2. In Form 2 the lady, the aunt now, let me refer her to an aunt so that they can get the full story. The lady passed on. So sad. Yeye ndio alikuwa anategemea school fees, hadi hata alikuwa anatunulia chakula pale nyumbani. She passed on na yeye ndio mwenyewe alikuwa anategemea. You can just feel the pain, like now I'm in darkness, now I'm just lost. What can I do? So nilianza kusumbuka pia. Now I went back to square one. In Form 2 niko shule, hakuna school fees. Mama yangu pale hana kazi, anafanya contracts, anafanya kwa shamba la mtu siku moja, siku mzima, then anapata 100 bob. The 100 bob anapata, you can just imagine how she can divide it for my school fees, for my pocket money, for other siblings to get food. So it was so tough. Now I survived in school minus paying school fees. How was I doing this? I know my teachers, the principal for Nyakoiba High School, the teachers are listening, but today I want to tell them the real story, how it was, because they knew that I was in school I was in school, but I was not paying school fees. They never knew this. Nobody knew this. I'm very sure no one knows this. It's only my God and myself. Even the bazaars, they are listening wherever they are right now. They didn't know. Now listen, but msinishike because I paid it after that. Thank you so much. Now, in Form 2, mwalimu alikuwa anakuja like in the morning, you know, Mondays you are in class, wewe umejipanga usome, then mwalimu anakuja kama hujamaliza assignment, come in front, you know, kuchapwa, si ndio? So mimi nilikuwa nimemaliza assignment, nimefurahi, but later on unapata deputy anakuja na list kama hujamaliza kulipa school fees. So you see the others will be happy because they have not finished the assignment. Now they are happy they are going home, but me, I finished the assignment, I don't want to go home now, I'm sad. So they will say get out, and it was in 3 dimensions. Either you go home if you have not paid school fees, kama umelipa school fees you remain here, or if you have money you're going to pay, you go and line up on the bazaar's office. So now I could calculate my home from here, it is 250 shillings. I don't have even pocket money, even a shilling. My mother nikienda nyumbani akiniona, she can even faint, she can even get stroke because akona stress sana. So I could not go home. What could I do? That line for ya kupanga kulipa school fees nilikuwa mrefu na ni saa 4. So what I could do, nilikuwa naenda napanga line. You see, in the bazaar they go slowly, one by one, very careful. So I could calculate by the time saa 4, saa 6 ifike, saa 7 ifike, hii line itakuwa imeisha. Na saa 7 ikifika wale wako class watatoka nje, si ndio? So nitatoka kwa line and I will join them, wale wenye wametoka class. Nikiwa join saa 8 kuna mtu atakufukuza school fees? Hakuna mtu atakufukuza.
And you did that every time?
I did that every time. Asikushikwa, my God liveth. My God liveth. And that's why I'm going all over the country telling people that there's a God. I've seen his hand. So I could do that each and every day. They didn't know, but now I've said. Yeah. Now, what happened in Form 3? I was an activist. You saw the other day, I call myself activist. I'm also a news anchor. I can anchor news very well. I did it for 4 years in high school. They knew me. Hata watu wa bodaboda walikuwa wanakuja wanakaa kwa fence kusikiza nikisoma news. They are there. I know they are listening right now. I could anchor very well in English, in Kikisi, and all that. So they could come on Monday, Friday. Ikifika tu saa 2 Monday, wale watu wa bodaboda wako kwa gate, wanaikufunguliwa hapo. Tulikuwa naweka speaker. I was the journalism club president. So I made very many efforts until we came on Citizen here for the first time from Kisii. Yes, during my tenure. Yes. So nilikuwa naweka hadi it was live. You see, people could listen from the comfort of your home. The neighbors of the school could listen to what we are saying. And I could using that chance as a journalist to air out our petitions as students. Which petition? If I can mention one. There is this time wale watu walikuwa wanakuja kuuza fruits shule. So the school was just dirty. So they said what we will do, we will not allow these mamas to sell the oranges, ndio, because it making the school dirty. But I stood as an activist and as a journalist. And I said, I went and talked to the principal. And I told him, no, we can do something on this. Let's do what? Let's look for ways. After these mothers have finished selling, let them pick zile peelings zinabaki so that waokote. So niliwatetea sana as an activist. Then the students saw that there was something in me for leadership. So they chose me to become the students leader in Form 3 and Form 4. And that's how I survived from Form 3 and Form 4. Sikufukuza school fees. Why? Because I was a student leader and I was so friendly with the teachers. I was so social. I could go, nachukulia walimu maji wanaoga pale asubuhi saa 10 nimeamka. Principal akiamka anapata maji moto iko hapo imeoga. Then wanafunzi walikuwa wananitusi, anasema wewe unaringa unajifanya, but no, I knew what I was doing and that's how I survived. Principal could not. Now how can he send me home? Yet mimi ndio namletea maji pale anaoga, yet mimi ndio student leader. So I survived Form 3 and Form 4. This is what I did. I didn't have pocket money. How did I get pocket money? Pocket money during visiting days. My mother didn't know, but I could take a camera ya mwalimu, tuna agree na yeye, picha ni 30 bob. So ninapiga picha during the visiting days. Ninachukua 5 bob per photo, yeye anachukua the other 25. Unaona? So and how I was social, nilikuwa napiga picha mingi. So by the end of the day I have like 400 shillings. The 400 inanisaidia to push all the term as pocket money. How could I go home? Somebody could ask that. Nilikuwa natoa wapi fare kwenda nyumbani? This is what I could do. I could spare the day of closing day. Closing day nilikuwa naijua mapema. So I call wale watu wa gari kutoka town wanakuja hadi shule. On that very morning ninajipanga mapema, ninaweka vitu zangu kando, ninaanza uconductor. Ninapiga gari tao so watu wanajaa. Wakijaa ile gari kienda ninaachiwa 100 na inaenda gari ingine 100, gari ingine 100. Ile gari ya mwisho inanichukua nyumbani. So nikifika town I could do shopping. Karatasi ya black na jaza sukari, nini hapo unga, chumvi, ninaenda nyumbani. Nikitoka kwa gate nakuja kama mzee wa familia na nimetoka shule. Na mamangu hajanipea pocket money. That's what I could do for survival. People didn't know. People didn't know. They are listening now.
Yes.
My students, they are listening, my alumni of Nyakoiba High School.
Nyakoiba.
Yes, they thought that I was doing this for fun, like I was so social, but I knew what I was doing. I finished my Form 4. I went back home. Now, you see now, after kumaliza Form 4, nilimaliza na balance like 57,000. 57,000, but I sat for my KCSE. Yes, as a boy child, I didn't get that chance ya kusoma vizuri, like the facilities, but I made it and I got a direct entry to the university. Yes, now after coming back, nilipata life, it was so hard. My mother ako Kisii, babangu ajui hata kama nilisoma, so I went back in Nairobi also to sleep in the streets. I had nowhere to go. I got a friend of mine mwenye aliniconnect, nikaanza kazi ya watchman. I said from a street boy, you see now, from a street boy to a watchman. This how I ended up becoming a watchman. A watchman ilifanya hapa South Sea. Kuna mmoja wenu akomusi, this lady is a Kamba, doing the Kamba radio here in Royal Media. Nilikuwa namchunga kwake, ananijua hadi saa hii. Nilikuwa namfungulia gate asubuhi, anakuja kazini, akirudi anamfungulia tena. Ninamwoshia gari, ananiachia 100. She was there, she knows me very well. Somebody wavinya, something like that. Yes, this lady could
You're the security guy at
yes, security
place.
guy wake in kwake, under the Amati security. Right. So from there I was taken to Superloaf company to take care of that company, kufungua gate na kufunga, kutake crates zikiingia ninaandika chini. So that's how I started working as a wholesaler. How did it come? Nilikuwa napewa mikate 2, mikate 3 nikakule. Kwa kazi mzuri nimefagia pale, chukua mikate 2, kijana mdogo under 18. Sasa hiyo mikate nilikuwa nasema siendi kukula. Hiyo mikate nilikuwa naenda ninauza kwa customer. Unaona? Ninauza ili nipate angalau ni pesa ya kununua hata ugali kwa hoteli. So that's how I started getting customers. After getting customers, one day I was sitting pale kwa ile office yangu. I told you I have an office yenye ina mlango ile wa watchman, si ndio? Yes. So and I thought, what if I'm selling 2 pieces and I'm getting this cash? What if I sell a crate? What can I get? So I did that work for 1 month, January, the whole of January, 1 month. I got my salary 4,500. They gave me 4,000. Alinitumia tu na M-Pesa because hiyo time hata sikuwa na ID. Actually I was 18, not even 18. My ID had not come.
Yes.
So I got the salary. That salary I bought 1 crate, 623 shillings. Na nikasema it is enough. This is not where God destined me to be. I am out of this work. Unajua zile nguo nilikuwa napewa si zenye nilipimiwa. Ni ule mtu mwenye amevutwa kazi, unapewa nguo yake kubwa sana inakaa umbrella. So that's what I could wear. But I thank God. Yeah. From there I started with 1 crate. Na nika rent nyumba yangu. In that house, I didn't have anything. I just had a padlock and a key. Peke yake. Nilikuwa nakuja naweka gazeti kama hizi chini na box. Naweka nalala, asubuhi naamkia kazi. Sometimes I sleep in the job. Ule wa night shift akikuja anakaa hapo na mimi nakaa kando ninalala hapo because kazini ni secure before I rented my house 2,500 pale Fuatanyayo. So I started with the business with 1 crate. Pole nilikapata customers wangu na wakanipenda sana because I was so social, very honest. Since I started mimi sijawahi nachukua pesa extra. No, I understand the customer. What he says, the customer is always right. Correct. That's a business quote, of course. Correct. And will help all the business people. So I started with 1 crate until now. I'm selling almost 30 crates as we speak. And 1 crate I get 80 shillings. So you can calculate 80 times 30 at least per day. 2,400 at least. So when the sales are high like weekends, I sell almost 50. So the 2,400, what I do, I take for 200 shillings. I go for security in the company. This money will be given in future. So those are like NSSF savings. Then the rest of the money, they divide wale boys wangu wawili. Moja alimaliza Form 4. I was teaching also. While before I joined the campus, I taught a Bright Stars Secondary School. They are listening. And one of my boys who is working for me was a student there. Nilimwambia wewe ukipita vizuri, I'll give you work. He's the only person who went to university from that school and I gave him work. Yes, Saimo, I know he's listening.
Dan Brighton, hold that thought because this story is so inspiring. It's so inspiring for 19-year-old Dan Brighton Wamam. Why Wamam, by the way?
Oh, Wamam. My mother is so nice. I know also she is listening. My mother has been a very good figure in my life. Yeye ndiye aliniintroduce to Christianity. She could advise and inspire me and tell me, despite that we are going through all these challenges, one day, one time, we'll have a good we'll have a good time pamoja, and all will be well.
Ladies and gentlemen, this young man is only 19 years old. Already, he has seen the world. He has done it all, but he's only just beginning.
Yes.
Listen to the story of Dan Brighton Wamam as he inspires us on A Story a Day. Take a quick break, come back, plenty more ahead. What a story, what an inspiration.